In the previous post on the Critique This website, I posted an article with a series of images that I've developed over the years for various renderings and different projects. And these sky images are actually very easy to create if you have the right tools and the right software. And we're going to be using Photoshop CS3 today, but the two key tools that we're going to be using are available in most versions of Photoshop that you would find in the office. And we're going to be using a special plugin called Noiseware, which is a great plugin and that resolves a lot of issues that you get with photographs, specifically photographing skies with digital SLR cameras. And we're going to look at more technique rather than learning the ins and outs of the tools. Um, but you'll notice in this photograph that sorry about that. Although our horizon is fairly straight, we have these buildings projecting up into the horizon, and your first instinct would probably be to just crop above those buildings and those features. But when you do that, you lose a lot of the sky, and it becomes uh, very, there's nothing to weight the sky, and there's no sense of a horizon. So we are going to take a different approach. We're going to crop the image to maintain as much of the sky as possible. And there's two tools we're going to use. We're going to use the rubber stamp, which you can find right here. The shortcut for that is S. And the other tool we're going to use is the healing brush tool. And these tools are really essential in Photoshop work and developing backgrounds or various kind of resources for renderings. And a lot of people get confused and they think that these two tools do the same thing, but they have very different functions. The healing brush is very nice for blending, where the stamp tool is very nice for kind of recreating whole new areas. And we're going to start in this corner here, and we're going to use the stamp tool. Just hit S on your keyboard and that should bring it up. And when you have the stamp tool activated, hold down the Option key on a Mac, and I believe it's the Alt key on a PC, but if you hold down the Option, you get a crosshair. That crosshair is going to allow you to take a sample. So we're going to sample, and for this kind of work, it's always best to sample very close to what you're trying to wipe out. And use a bigger brush. For those of you that don't know, if you right click, it brings up the brush palette or brush toolbar, and you can very quickly and on the fly change your brush sizes without having to go through the menus. And really we're just, you kind of notice, just taking a bunch of different samples from different parts and just kind of massaging this with the stamp tool until we get something that looks like it fits in. And so you can see how easy it was to just quickly go in there, highlight that little area, and stamp it out. Now, uh, in the lower corner, and you're gonna have to forgive me, using a video software which isn't acting very well with the full screen mode in Photoshop. But we're going to start off and we're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to use the stamp tool and just kind of be sloppy. I mean, typically I'll just take one area and just fill it in. And you can do this all on the same layer. Don't worry about setting up different layers because the goal right now is to just produce one image. We're not going to layer this actually in our rendered view. so you see there's some obvious repetition. We'll get rid of that in a minute. Right now we're just kind of doing um, the first pass, if you will. So we're going to sample. Again, make sure you sample right where you are, because you'll start to notice when you do this for a while um, that just a few inches up, and I'll show you what I mean. You know, if you sample up here, you can notice the change in tone in here and here, and if you find that to be a problem, we'll just come back with the spot heal brush, and take care of that. So like I said, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to see some lines, but just like in painting, you're going to build this up one layer at a time. So just trying to go in, hit up all these. Don't worry about repetition or anything like that right now. And you can see how using the keyboard and the shortcuts, you can start to work very fast in Photoshop. Um, Apple minus and Apple plus are your zoom, which is very nice when you're working in full screen mode. And the other two tools that become handy, or not tools, but the shortcuts, is H for the pan and V for the selector. So if you just start to, when you do these tasks, try to make sure that you start to use the shortcut keys, because just like in typing, you know, you start to use these keys over and over, they're going to start to commit to memory, and you're only going to use this palette to just double check and make sure you know what's selected. So we see that we've got some uneven blending here, and so we're going to hit J, go into the healing brush, do a spot sample, and just paint it away and start to blend this a little better. Sometimes it's better to get a bigger brush. And you can start to see why we didn't use the healing brush for the whole, to remove the whole object first, because it's very sensitive. Like right here we get this kind of strange artifact at the base of the drawing where it's not really sure how to blend it. But it will do a pretty good job. Now again, over here I told you not to worry about these areas. With the healing brush, it just blends. See there, we messed up. Just undo it. Zoom in a bit. Use a smaller brush. Take a sample. There we go. Got it. And you're just blending. And the key is obviously you don't want patterning in your skies, because then it does look really fake. So now we'll come in here. It looks like our sky image is just about ready for the next step. This area looks pretty good. There might be a little spottiness there, but again, just use the heal brush, massage that out, and it'll go away. This looks great. So let's focus in here. And we're going to go back to the stamp. And one of the nice things, well, there's many nice things about using a tablet, but we'll just do a quick demonstration. The tablet is pressure sensitive, which is very nice when you're doing kind of artistic work like this, where you're kind of really recreating large areas of the scene. And so with the sample, yeah, that obviously doesn't look good, but